Hi, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about a very interesting project being built in the White Sand area. And in our studio today is the project's sales manager. Kat, the first thing I want to ask you is what makes your project unique compared to other projects being built in this area?
Well, the main thing that sets Eden Garden apart from other projects is, of course, the balance of price, quality, and location. This project is located just a few minutes drive from White Sand Beach, which makes this project truly exclusive in the market. As I always say, apartments are built every day, beaches are not.
I absolutely agree. And for most of our potential buyers, the first question they ask about a project is how good the nearby beach is. After that come questions about price, the finishes, and so on. But the first question is always about the beach. So, what stage is the project at right now? I mean, construction has already started, as far as I know, right? So, what's happening there now?
Yes, construction has already begun. We started building even before we started selling the project. We've already built the first building, and the finishing work is underway on the first unit, which we'll be using as the model unit. And we plan to complete it in January.
And how would you personally assess it? You know, white sand is actually a very well known and highly regarded name for those who are familiar with the area. Prices are rising quite sharply there. The whole district is currently being developed, and it just keeps getting better and better every single day. So, how would you rate the potential for price growth in this area and the potential for future rental income? Because most of our clients are buying for themselves to spend some time there during the year. But naturally, if they're spending 2, 3, 4 months a year, the rest of the time the apartment is rented out. And it's also important that it rents well, that there's a low vacancy rate, and that the rental income is high.
Well, over the last 3 years, prices in White Sand have risen by about 25%. The annual income from rent is around, yes, in 3 years, by 25%. The annual income from rent is around 8 to 10% per year.
What percentage per year?
8 to 10% per year.
8 to 10. I thought I heard 80.
Yes, 8 to 10. Yes, we're confident that in the next 5 years, prices in this area will only continue to rise due to the increasingly popular and highly sought after demand for this district, thanks to its great location, modern and well developed infrastructure, and of course, its convenient proximity to the beach.
As they say in real estate, the most important thing is always location, location, location. And the statistic you cited that in the last 3 years, it's grown by 25%. That's also an indicator because this area has been developing for several years. And if you take the average for the greater Punta Cana area, well, probably excluding Cap Cana, the average growth is 6 to 7%. But this area is actually growing at almost 12%. And in principle, that's really great. That's truly great. You know, it means it's in very high demand and more people want to buy property here. So tell me, who are your primary buyers in this market? Are they mostly investors or are they retirees, people who have finished their careers, who buy a place and plan to spend a lot of time there? Or could they be people who work remotely, professionals who can do their jobs from anywhere? Who are the main buyers?
Well, it's just as you said, Maxim. It turns out our main investors are retirees, investors from the US and Canada, and also families who want to buy a second residence by the sea. And our project is mainly chosen by those who value quality construction and comfort.
For quality, we've already met and looked at the finishing options. That comes later. We're going to do a report with the architect and the construction manager, so you'll see how it's being built. The project really has its own unique touch. So, how does the project fit into the area's overall development concept? What interesting things are happening around the area besides the project itself? The project is great, it's all fantastic, but what's also important is the surrounding infrastructure, what's being built there.
Well, White Sand is one of the most promising and dynamically developing areas. I'll give you an example. For instance, in Los Corrales and El Cortecito, there's no land left for construction. And now the focus of Punta Cana's development has shifted specifically to white sand. For me, it's like the starting point for this region's development to the north. White sand actually has two very convenient exits, right? One of which leads directly to the Punta Cana airport,
How far is the airport, by the way?
about 25 to 30 minutes. And we're also just a 10-minute drive from downtown Punta Cana, which is also very important.
So that's shops, restaurants, all of that?
Yes, yes, uh-huh. So this residence isn't just good for living, but also for investing.
Well, it's actually always good to invest in an area that's developing really rapidly, and the earlier you get in, the bigger the potential profit will be. There's a famous hockey player in Canada, Gretzky, and he once said a famous phrase. I always quote it to investors because it's more relevant than ever to investing. He said, "You have to." They asked him, "Why are you such a unique hockey player?" Well, Gretzky, he's the number one star in all of Canadian hockey, and they asked him, "How do you do it? How does it work for you?" And he said, "A good hockey player is someone who is where the puck is, but a great hockey player is someone who is where the puck is going to be." And that's exactly what applies to a developing area in terms of investment. You need to be not where everything is already good and comfortable, but where everything will be steadily improving and getting better after some time. What lifestyle can property owners in Eden Garden expect? People are all different, and some are looking for, a place where everything is bustling all day long, nightclubs. Others, on the contrary, are looking for quiet. Some are looking for a more active sort of vacation and place to live. So, what exactly can potential buyers expect from the Eden Garden project?
Our clients can expect a calm coastal lifestyle. On the residence grounds, there's a well equipped fitness center, a spacious barbecue area, two inviting pools, and also a dedicated kids zone. Within White Sand itself, a cafeteria, restaurant, and mini market are already open. Also, a driving range for golf was recently opened where you can practice even in the evening. And a modern sports complex with paddle courts and pools is also under construction.
By the way, you mentioned golf, which is quite important because many of our potential buyers play golf. As far as I know, in White Sands, there's a very good large course, or rather, not a very good one, but a large area, and it's an old golf course. Are there currently any plans or intentions for White Sands to, well, eventually turn this course into a true highlight, to really make it a truly great and outstanding golf course in the future?
Yes, of course, that's in the plans and work is already underway to renovate these golf courses. But for now, while they're not yet renovated, you currently have the opportunity to play nearby at the Iberostar Hotel, which is available for guests to enjoy. It's only 5 minutes away. You can even get there by golf cart and play golf there. The courses there are operational and in good condition.
So, again, look, there's already a place to play today, but the opening of a new golf course right next door will definitely always push prices up. Another thing that interests many of our clients is the legal guarantees. I mean, well, it's clear that buying at the pre-construction stage carries some risk, right? I'd say that risk is minimal in the Dominican Republic now because it's not like it was, say, 6 or 7 years ago when the market was full of small Dominican developers and the risk was actually quite high. Now, these are large companies with reputations, and generally there aren't any problems. But nevertheless, how does it all work from a legal standpoint? How safe is it for those who are buying the property?
Yes, of course. All our transactions are certainly transparent and straightforward. After the reservation, we prepare a contract for the client. We also send the lawyer all the necessary documents so they can perform due diligence. After the contract is signed, all contracts are notarized by a notary public. And when you receive your property upon completion, all of your transactions, all property rights are registered in the cadaster of the Dominican Republic. So everything is transparent, clear, and there is a real right of ownership for foreigners, which is very important.
Let me explain a bit for our viewers. The thing is, the Dominican Republic seriously changed all the legal procedures regarding real estate about 5 years ago. And now they are very similar to what we see in Canada and the USA. And so it's full ownership rights, and there's no difference whether a foreigner or a local owns it. Does this project have comforter?
Yes.
Comforter is very important. Not all projects actually qualify for comforter. The project has to be in a specific tourist area, and there are certain nuances. The comforter itself is obtained when the project is built, but the preliminary review by the authorities happens in advance. So the application is reviewed, and there has never been a case where an application for comforter was submitted and then not granted. So with a 99.9% probability, the project will have comforter in the future. And this is another legal guarantee, because it's not just an exemption of the project from taxes for a period of 15 years. It's also a check, an additional check by the government. So firstly, the registration chamber checks when it issues the building permit, when, well, the whole project is being prepared. But when comforter is issued, there's an additional check from the government, which is quite important. And the last thing I think about guarantees is, as far as I know, the project is already under construction, right?
Yes, of course. And we'll go and see how the construction is progressing at the site right now, taking a closer look at the ongoing work. We work every single day in person, making sure that everything is moving forward as planned.
Well, I have one more question for you. This question is about people who are moving to the Dominican Republic, or those who are planning to spend a long period of time living here in this country. The thing is, the recent trend, if before, looking at our clients, our buyers, the majority usually purchased with the intention of spending a month or a month and a half each year here, typically coming 2 or 3 times for 10 days. But now, many people, we even have clients who have moved here, and there are quite a lot of them. And well, besides that, there are retirees who come for 6 to 7 months a year, because the Dominican Republic has now taken the lead from Florida, because many retirees come here, life is cheaper. And from what I see, not all projects are suitable for that lifestyle. Well, there have to be certain criteria, right? If a person comes, let's say, for a short period, and then the apartment is rented out, then it can basically be a studio or some kind of small hotel room type apartment, because, well, people are mostly at the beach. But if someone has come for a long-term stay, the property should really accommodate that. So what in your project, as far as I know, is specifically designed to be convenient for both those who come for a short term and those who come for a long period?
Yes, that's right. Our project is designed down to the last detail so that you can not only vacation there, but also live there. And why do I say that? Because all the apartments are very spacious. And in our bedrooms, you can easily fit, for example, a king size bed. And in each building, we have elevators, we have a shuttle to the beach from the project, which is very convenient for people. And as I mentioned earlier, swimming pools, playgrounds for children, basically everything you need, not just for vacationing, but for comfortable living. Also, the infrastructure is very well developed. There are medical centers, restaurants nearby, and everything you need.
Well, that's important, because many people are indeed looking to spend a long period of time there, and they need spacious kitchens, large bedrooms. Some developers make bedrooms where only a small queen bed will fit, right? So, is there an option for financing with the purchase? How does the payment process work in general? How is the money deposited? And what options are there, well, to finance the project?
Yes, of course. We have a very flexible payment plan, so to speak. First, you make a $3,000 deposit. That's for the reservation. Then, over the course of a month, all the documents are checked, the contract is prepared, and the first payment, the down payment, is made. Along with the initial down payment, we sign the official contract, and then we have a detailed payment breakdown, 35%.
How much is the down payment?
The down payment is 15%.
Yes, that's right. Absolutely. You are correct. Indeed, that is true, certainly.
Those 3,000 are already included in the 15% down payment. And during the construction process, 35% is paid. They are divided into payments every month or every 3 months.
So you can customize those payments during construction. Basically, whatever is convenient for the client. Someone wants to pay a larger amount, but less often. Someone wants to pay more often, but in smaller amounts. Yes.
Yes, exactly. You choose what's convenient for you and transfer those payments to the developer once a month, once every 3 months, or once every 6 months.
So during construction, when is this project scheduled to be completed?
We have two construction phases. That's June of 2027 and June of 2028. So if you choose June of 2028, then we have what? 2.5 years left until the completion of the second phase.
So as I understand it, part of the project will be completed in the summer of 2027 and part in 2028.
Yes, that's absolutely right.
And as you said, so during construction, 50% of the cost will be paid during this time. Well, as a rule, of course, clients pay it off in full because financing is a bit more expensive in the Dominican Republic than in the US or Canada. As a rule, they pay it off by finding their own funds or by taking out loans in their home countries. But let's say we also have buyers from Russia and Ukraine, where lending is generally very expensive. And for them, these interest rates, for Americans and Canadians, the financing here is expensive. But for them, this financing is actually quite cheap. So is it possible to get financing here? And how difficult is it?
Yes, it's possible. 2 to 3 months before construction is complete, you can apply for financing. And for that 50%, you can actually get a loan from a Dominican bank at an interest rate of 9%, which is currently available from Scotiabank at the moment.
I even heard that the rates have dropped a bit. We had clients got loan 8.5%.
8.5%. Well, yes, you see, it really does depend on how long your fixed rate period is for that percentage, for instance, in this particular case. The interest rate changes depending on that.
And the last thing, probably before we head over to the project's construction site, where we'll have a meeting with the construction manager who will tell us in detail about the building materials and the technologies used in this project. Katya, tell us about the developer itself. As far as I know, the developer has Russian roots, apparently, because the construction manager is also Russian speaking. How did this all happen? How did they start construction in the Dominican Republic? And where did they work before this? And what did they build?
Yes, in fact, indeed, the developer is from Russia. It's the company Metrofond, an international company. They have already built in Russia, Rostov-on-Don, Sochi, Moscow, and also Bali. And now we are building in the Dominican Republic. This is a company with more than 15 years of experience in the construction market. And more than 100 projects have already been commissioned, and more than 300,000 square meters have been built. So this is a company that truly values the quality of construction, reliability, and new technologies.
I see. That's very important. By the way, the project is already on our web portal for those who are visiting our web portal for the first time. And I'll remind you that in order to see all the information, including prices and available apartments, this information is updated daily. You need to be registered and create your own password. So if this is your first time, don't forget to do that because the portal has two versions, one for registered users and another for unregistered potential clients, and unregistered users do not see the full information. Well then, shall we head over to the construction site?
Yes, let's go.